since the upload. I've been overwhelmed by the fact that I'll be paying so many prios. I have prios for Majesty Lord Blaster, the booster pipe by June 10, I think. I have prios for Premium Collection 2022, Big Joker and Narukami. And I have prios for Volume 5 and 6. And I'm also hosting my own Volume 5 and 6. Check the link below whenever this is already uploaded in the channel. This live stream is uploaded. I'll be putting the link of my Facebook. You can chat me there. If you're going to avail V-Clan collections 2, 4, 5, and 6, I'm hosting all of those. Um, Premium Collection 2022, the Booster 5, and Volume 5 and 6 of V-Clan collections. I'm allied to people that are hosting those, so you have many options to choose from. And I'm also selling cards from my binder. I can't really show it off in the stream. It's about Dungaree. Good lord. So this is a Dungaree live deck profile video. So let's push the camera down below so you guys can see the deck itself. So let's make this quick since I'm using the mall Wi-Fi for the live stream. Hopefully it uploads smoothly. No pixelized part in the video, no audio loss. I wish. So we're going straight to the boss card for Dungaree. The very first grade 3, I think, that has a 17k base power, a base of 2 crits, and triple drive. So that's very unique to Dungaree. And Dungaree, it's like the old Dungaree. It plays around by binding its own cards. So at the beginning of the battle phase, if your opponent's Vanguard is greater, you may bind the top card of your deck. Great way, since to give the cost of the second skill. First skill is 0 cost. Great design actually. So it's a very fun deck. I can't say it's for competitive use in the long run right now since the options are very limited. But I try my best to make the deck as the competitive environment ready, I guess, for this build. Second skill is basically when this attacks, put all of your cards in your bind zone into the drop. Perform all of the following skills according to the number of cards put into the drop. If 2 or less, it loses 10,000 power, loses 1 crit, and loses 2 drives. If it's 4 or more, your opponent has to bind a card from their hand. If it's 5 or more, you get to choose 3 cards in your drop, then return to your deck. Great way of kind of a recycling triggers, I guess. Most of the time, the targets for me, when I use the deck, my targets are heal or draw perfect guards. So that's the boss grade 3. Our boy, Dungaree. Next, I'm running same card from the same prio, Shot. You can run the Dijin, but in my case, I want the counter blast mainly for paying Ren. Since I use Ren as many times as possible all throughout a card fight. So we have here Jaggy Shot. Jaggy Shot here. It's a two-way use. The first skill is you can use it for setting up for Dungaree's cost payment. It attacks the Vanguard, bind a card from your hand, so it's gonna go to the bind zone. Then choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards, bind it. Then if your opponent has no rear guards in the front row, once you've already resolved the part of binding one, draw a card. So great reprint actually for Dungaree. It's gonna rain. Oh no. Let's move the... Good Lord Jesus Christ, it's gonna rain. Let's move the cards. I might get a wet Dungaree here. That's kind of scary. Okay, let's move. Let's make this fast since it's gonna rain. So that's the skill of Jaggy Shot. You can use it for Dungaree set up for cost, or you can use it to attack extend. That's the term I think. I use Chatura and Bajan. I'm gonna explain later what those cards are. So next, grade twos. Of course, I'm running Ren. Ren is basically designed for Dungaree. When rolled upon, pay the cost of counter blasting one. Look at two cards from top of your deck. Choose one from among them and bind it, and put the rest into your soul. Soul? Hand. So great card actually. Early grade 2 turn or grade 3 turn, bind one. Then you get to have a +1 to your hand by only using a counter blast. Its axe skill on the rear guard circle is very dire, I guess, in playing Dungaree. You pay the cost of counter blasting one, bind the top card of your deck, then it gains 5,000 power up for each grade of the card that was bound for the cost. Then if it's a grade 0, instead of powering up, you get to draw. So there's no downside to using Ren, so why not run 4, right? So run 4. Next, grade 2, attack extender, Chatura. I'm only running 3 because there's a soul, what do you call this? There's a bit of a soul, you don't really use the soul because of Chatura unless it hits. So the only cards that are using up the soul are Barca and where is it? This card. This the grade 1. It uses up a soul. So I'm only running 3 for attack extension. This is only a way to have an extra attack in this deck to make it less linear to what it's supposed to be. Usually, I've watched other deck builds. They don't really use Chatura or Bajan because they want to secure that five bound cards when Dungaree attacks every turn. But to me, it doesn't need to be necessarily every time you have to be your Vanguard attacks. You need to have 5 cards in the bind zone. To me, at least 3 is enough. If you get to 4, that's a bonus. So I'm using 3 of this. When it's bound from hand, you may. So there's an option. If you want to call it to rear to have an attack extension, you can use Chatura. Then it gains 10,000 power if you do so. Or just leave it in the bind zone in order to meet the requirements of Dungaree when it attacks. I'm running 3 of that. Next, I'm running Barca. Barca here is an old PR, I think, in English format, but it wasn't released here in the Philippines for a long time, or it was released, but I didn't have the capability to gain a copy since it's a tournament PR. There are no tournaments in the past 2 years. I think there was, but it's not official, so there's no tournament PRs. Or if there is, I wasn't able to play at those. So Barca here is great for Vanquisher. Actually, it's great for any Narukami deck that you want to play with Chatura and Bajan, the generic that can be bound from hand and called to rear when it's bound. So its skill is at the end of the battle, this unit attack. If your Vanguard is great reader, so it's not restricted to any archetype. So +1, bind a card from your hand, draw a card. Your opponent chooses one of his or back row rear guards and moves it to an open front row rear guard circle. So doesn't really bypass, restrict, or cannot be targeted for card skill wording. I don't think continuous, but still a great card to have if you want to integrate attack extensions, maybe on your Eradicators or your Detonics Drill or your Kaisers. So 4 copies. Attack extension or setup for Dungaree. Next, I'm running 3 of each since they're pairs. 3 of Gongsun or Gongsan. This is a 12k grade 2 when it's boosted by Oban or Oban. I don't know the pronunciation. What's the correct one? It's basically a 23k lane. So I'm gonna hold it like this. 23k lane. End of the battle. In attack while boosted by this grade 1, pay the cost of counter +1, bind all of the rear guards the same column as this unit. So bind both of them and all of the records in your opponent's field, the same column of this two, then you get to draw two. That's the skill of the grade two. The skill of the grade one is when it's placed on the triggered circle in the same column as this grade two, you get to counter charge. So it kind of balances out its cost. It's basically zero cost, more or less, if you played it right in a right tempo. Call, counter charge. The counter charge card gets to be the cost for the counter blast. Then you get to draw two, clean a whole column. Same time, great compatibility with Dungaree, since it binds itself. These two, you get +2 to the bind zone. The 5 cards in the bind zone is more, what you call this, attainable in the long run. You can run for 4 copies of each, but since I'm running Chaturas, I've downgraded it into 3 copies of each. Actually, you can run Helena. Helena is I think it's the only counter charge of Narukami in V series, other than this grade one. I don't know if there's other cards. You can run that if you want to secure a counter charge, or run Regina, I think, for the soul, or run maybe Choo for an extra attack and bind. It's up to you guys, but to me this is the list for Dungaree. So before we go with the card from the Prio, we're going with the Bajan. So Bajan is basically an attack extender. When it's bound from hand during your turn, you may call this card. Right? So as you can read, it says you may. So if you have a dire need to get into 3 bound cards in your bind zone, you can bind this card and not call it to R. But I don't know. To me, when I use this, I usually have it be attack extender, also to secure soul charge to pay for Mew Mew in upcoming another turn. Mew Mew or Barca. So 4 copies for me. You can turn it down to, I guess you can turn it down to 3, then get another copy of. Honestly, I want to get another copy of this and another copy of this. Turn down the Chatura to 2. I don't know about you guys, but for now that's the list for me. Final grade one. As I'm been saying too much, it's about to rain. I'm getting kind of panicky. I don't think you guys can see it. You guys see it? The lightning? Yeah. It's about to rain, so let's finish the video. There's thunderclouds. It's final. Oh, thunderclouds. Very kept to the team, Narukami. Mew Mew here is a card that was when rolled upon, look at the top card of your deck. You either bind it or put it on top of your deck. It's kind of a OTT-ish play. Same time, you can use it for an early setup for Dungaree. At the same, and it's axe skill, outer circle skill once per turn. If your opponent's vanguard's grade or greater, you can use it in grade 2 turn. If your opponent's vanguard's grade or greater. So +1, bind a card from your hand and draw a card. It's great. Uh, in all honesty, Dungaree is a fun deck, but I don't want to say I'd rather play this deck, because that's kind of bad for a video. But in all honesty, you can actually, I guess, you can hybrid it with Vanquisher, but what's the point? I have a friend that says that he will hybrid it with the Vanquisher VR. So it's a Vanquisher Dungaree. I don't see how it will work, but I guess there is a way. You're basically gonna go early to mid game Vanquisher, late game Dungaree to replenish your deck with the Dungaree skill of return 3 cards from drop to deck. I don't know how it will work out, but I guess you can try that. That friend of mine is kind of busy right now, end of semester for him, so I can't really have him be in a video. If I do, I'll upload it as soon as possible. Oh no, where's the other hill? Oh no, there's supposed to be 2 hills. Where is it? Wait. Oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Oh, I got panic. 4 Sentinel draw triggers. It's basically why not, because the deck kind of a, it's not the problem honestly. Uh, I really opt for draw PGs because the deck has a minimal guarding power. Is that the right term? Also, the deck is not as aggressive as Eradicators or Vanquisher. It's kind of a fun deck right now, but you can make do with the list that I have. You can alter it. So after the 4 draw PGs or draw perfect guards, I run 2 of the normal hill and 2 of the hill guardians. You guys can go with 4 hill guardians, I guess. But in the long run, late game or after you arrive grade 3, this is basically just a 15k shield. So that's why I run 2 of each to have an option. And of course, buttload of crits. I run 8. You guys can go for 6 crits, I guess, and go for 2 extra draws. But the deck easily dies out. I'll be honest with you guys. The deck easily dies out to other decks right now. Yeah, it's not the best, but it's good enough. So I rather run 8 crits in order to get that critical win. I guess that's the term. You go for crits, 8 crits. Finally, starter. You can go with anything. I'm using Barret Draco Kid because why not? It's not a, it's not really necessary to have a certain starter. Quick shield and a buttload of axles, all double-sided. In order to have an option if you want to go for axle one. So that's the list. It's already kind of a drizzle. Is that the right term? Weak rain. Thank you for watching. Leave a like. Share this video if you want. Uh, Comment. If you want to criticize the build, the video, I don't know. You're really gonna criticize a build that I said you can alter? I don't know. It's just a build. You want to criticize, make it constructive, I guess. I'm open for suggestions, but I'll be honest with you guys, this deck is already sold. So maybe I'll build it again someday when there's a Dungaree Unlimited V series. Hit that bell button for notifications of future uploads or live streams. And subscribe. Helps a lot. I think I 197 subs. 3 more to go. I will hit 200. Thank God. Although it took me 2 years. So every 1 year, 100 subs. I guess that's the average. Hopefully, I get to 1k subs someday. Yeah, that's it. That's the video. It's already 10 p.m. I think it's gonna rain. Thank you for watching and see you in the next upload or live stream.